The Dodgers working out a blockbuster trade for a player that they have been pursuing for years. Also, Gavin Lux on the way out. The latest report has him going out on a blockbuster trade for a pretty interesting pitcher. We get into all that in this edition of Dodgers Digest. Hey, this is Mike Nelson. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the 21% of you, the ones that are watching these videos who have already hit the sub button. But 78% of you have not subscribed yet. You know, when we started this channel, we were at like 95% you had not subscribed. But, you know, that number is growing. I want to thank everybody for their support. But if you're in that 78%, make sure to commit to Dodgers Digest. We're the best Dodger channel out there. Let's get right into it. Of course, the Dodgers reportedly interested in a blockbuster trade for Nolan Arenado. Of course, the Dodgers have been pursuing Nolan for quite a while. Going back, I remember back in 2020 when he was still on the Rockies, the Dodgers were interested in him. It didn't pan out. And, of course, the last 2 days on Sunday, you know, there were some interesting Instagram posts, to say the least, from Nolan that really, you know, made fans think, you know, what was this all about? There was a lot of photos posted on Instagram along with the song Dodger Blue by Kendrick Lamar. And that, of course, is, you know, that alone is a story, right? There have been reports that Dodgers have been interested in adding Arenado this offseason. This was, of course, from Randy Miller, a beat reporter, talked about this on WFAN radio. One guy that could be a possibility for the Yankees, of course, would be Arenado from St. Louis, but he says, you know, the Cardinals are trying to trade him. They're trying to move on from him, but he's also hearing that it's either going to be the Yankees or the Dodgers, and I think he's a West Coast guy, so he would prefer to go to the Dodgers, and I think the Dodgers want him. So let's get into it. What do you guys think? Do you think the Dodgers should seriously consider Nolan Arenado as an option for a blockbuster trade? Of course, that would mean, you know, potentially moving on from, let's say, Max Muncy. You know, is Gavin Lux part of that trade? Probably Max Muncy would most likely be gone, considering Nolan would be the everyday third baseman, right? What do you guys think? Should the Dodgers go after aggressively and make this trade? It's a tough one because the guy is now 34 years old. He's definitely, I don't think he's the same player that he was, you know, in his years with the Rockies, that's for sure. I think he's definitely taken a step down since he joined St. Louis. You've definitely seen a decline in his game. You know, you could think about, 8-9 years ago, this guy was one of the hottest players in the game, right? The guy was hitting like crazy. You know, he was definitely on the way up. There was a lot of potential for Nolan to be maybe one of the faces of the league. And I don't really think that happened. And, you know, of course, he's never been in really meaningful playoff baseball, and he wants to change that. He wants to go to a team that, you know, the Yankees or Dodgers, potentially, both of them could be competing once again in the World Series next year. You could definitely see why he would be interested in that sort of a trade, right? Why he would be all in on coming to LA. The question is, are the Dodgers going to be all in and trading some assets for him, right? Because it's not like they're going to be able to sign this guy like they've been able to sign so many players. This guy is under contract. They're going to have to come up with some sort of trade package to get Nolan to come to the Dodgers. And, you know, there was also this Kike Hernandez IG comment. This was also interesting. Happened yesterday. You know, putting a few videos of him taking some drills at third base. And Kike Hernandez popped up one of the comments, asked, no song for the post. Of course, we know after the post over the weekend with, you know, him going around, you know, even areas like Disneyland, Crypto.com Arena, and, you know, having Dodger Blue in the background. It's just, I don't know. I really think personally that there is something being worked out here with Arenado and the Dodgers. I just cannot believe that there's nothing going on. I think there is something going on. You know, there has to be, right? I just can't see how this is completely just happening for no reason, right? And, you know, with Mookie Betts moving back to the infield, it just kind of shows that, you know, is this the end for Gavin Lux with the Dodgers? This is another report we also got here from Jim Bowden of The Athletic. Dodgers blockbuster trade pitch provides Brewers with Willy Adames replacement. And, of course, we know Willy Adames is probably out. He's going to be gone through free agency. And who's going to be that replacement? Well, it's Gavin Lux, according to Jim Bowden of The Athletic. You know, after landing an ace for the rotation in Blake Snell, he was talking about how it's time for the Dodgers to address the back end of their bullpen. After missing the first 4 months of the last season with stress fractures, Devin Williams returned in late July and dominated. He was had a 1.25 ERA. He was great. 38 strikeouts, and the guy would be a great reliever for sure. So this kind of player, I think the Dodgers would be interested in, but of course they would have to give up Gavin Lux, right? In return for impact players like Williams, the Brewers would get a shortstop like Gavin Lux, who would replace Willie Adames as shortstop. Now, what do you guys think? Should the Dodgers pull the trigger and go after Devin Williams and, move on from Gavin Lux in that trade? I personally think they should. I really like this trade. I think it's a great idea. The Dodgers, if it is real and it is, potentially something that is realistic, I think the Dodgers should go after Devin Williams just to bolster that bullpen. Of course, the bullpen was absolutely great in the playoffs. I mean, let's come on. I mean, the bullpen literally won a must-win bullpen game against the Padres. The Dodgers would never even won in the first round if it weren't for the bullpen. So this bullpen is definitely, not like it's bad, right? But I do think, having another arm out there wouldn't hurt, right? Because, there's injuries and the bullpen did struggle. Let's not forget the bullpen did struggle at times during the regular season, right? I mean, that was definitely, I think, noted. There was some rough patches, to say the least, for a period of time there with the, during the regular season. So adding Devin Williams wouldn't be a bad thing. But Gavin Lux, what do you guys think? Should the Dodgers just kind of move on from Gavin, a player that they, of course, have had? He's been with the Dodgers his whole career. He came up through the system. He was supposed to be the replacement for Corey Seager. It hasn't really worked out. Mookie Betts moving back to the infield. Where does Gavin Lux fit? Where does he actually fit on this team? And, if Max Muncy gets traded away for Nolan Arenado, maybe there's some more room for Gavin Lux, but who knows? Maybe he's even part of that trade too. It seems like a bit much, right? Lux and Muncy probably won't both get traded for Nolan. It's probably going to be one of them, and I think Max Muncy would be that candidate. But in terms of Gavin Lux going for Devin Williams, I think the Dodgers should go after, they can get both of these deals done. I'm a little bit hesitant for sure on the Nolan trade. I'm a bit hesitant because of the age and, Max Muncy's been great for the Dodgers, right? I mean, it'd be tough to let go of that guy and have him go to St. Louis, right? A team that could potentially, play you in the playoffs, right? You never know. St. Louis could turn things around. They always have a lot of young players moving up in the system. And you really want Max Muncy to be part of that, right? So, but the Devin Williams trade, I think, is a interesting offer. Gavin Lux, you train away a player that, potentially you're not going to be utilizing very much anymore. In return for a player that we know, could be very important for the Dodgers come the playoffs, right? I mean, regular season as well. I mean, those numbers that I just showed you were pretty dominant in the second half of the year, and I think the Dodgers should potentially, go after a player like that in a blockbuster trade. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We got over 5,000 of you now jumped on here on this Dodgers Digest journey channel. It's been a wild journey, as I was trying to say. Wild journey for sure. We've been doing this for a few months, but I want to thank everybody for their support. We have a goal of reaching 6,000 before Christmas, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. As always, let's go Dodgers. Woo!